Currently, medical science knows of over 1,000 disorders of the brain, but some go relatively unnoticed, largely because sufferers don't think it's anything out of the ordinary. 26-year-old Luke Norton lives with his wife Katie in Bargo, Australia. He seems like a pretty normal guy, but ever since he was a teenager, and whenever he least expects it, Luke's brain has been telling him to fall asleep.
I just start feeling drowsy and fall asleep at inappropriate times. Shaving, I've fallen asleep. I've fallen asleep at concerts.
Luke is one of 3 million people worldwide who suffer from a neurological disorder called narcolepsy. The disorder usually appears in adolescence, and one of its most notable symptoms is uncontrollable bouts of sleep.
When I was younger, going through my teenage years, I just thought I was just maybe living a fast lane too much. Didn't really think much else of it.
When Luke married Katie in 2004, she started to notice things about his behaviour, eventually persuading him to go to the doctor.
I first noticed something different with Luke when we first moved in together. I noticed he'd fall asleep every afternoon. He's fallen asleep chewing. When we were eating, I had to keep waking up to tell him to chew.
The symptoms of narcolepsy go beyond simply dropping off. It's also accompanied by cataplexy, a sudden brief loss of muscle control triggered by extreme emotions such as laughter.
It usually happens when I'm out, when I'm laughing and my lip quivers and you just feel weakness in your lower limbs to the point where they just buckle.
But 3,000 miles away in Los Angeles, one scientist might be on the verge of finding a complete cure for narcolepsy.
Just a few years ago, we had no idea what caused narcolepsy. Now we have a very good understanding of the cause of narcolepsy.
Jerry Siegel is a professor of psychiatry at the University of California in Los Angeles and has made a breakthrough in narcolepsy research thanks to the narcoleptic man's best friend, the narcoleptic dog.
This dog is experiencing a cataplectic attack. It does it in sequence so that most frequently in the dogs it's the hind limbs that get weak first and then the forelimbs. Sometimes it's pretty much simultaneous. All the muscles will relax together and then the animal bounces up again. And throughout this cataplectic attack the animal is conscious. He just doesn't have muscle tone. For humans, laughter causes cataplexy. For dogs, eating this wonderful food causes cataplexy. This very excitement is what causes them to lose muscle tone, and then it just passes as the emotion passes.
Professor Siegel concluded that whatever caused this loss of muscle tone in narcoleptic dogs might also be causing sleepiness, the best known symptom of narcolepsy. The common denominator between these two symptoms was the absence of a neurotransmitter in the brain called hypocretin, which is partly responsible for keeping us awake.
The hypocretin cells project downwards towards the spinal cord in the brainstem, where they excite cells that contain norepinephrine and serotonin that maintain muscle tone. And these same hypocretin cells also project to regions in the forebrain that maintain waking. So in the absence of hypocretin, you have a loss of waking. And this understanding will, I believe, very soon allow us to develop a very effective treatment for narcolepsy.
Current treatment for narcolepsy involves a regular daily intake of stimulants like dextroamphetamine. But pharmaceutical companies are now developing drugs based on hypocretin.
Oh, it's got a score! Oi, oi, look at this!
As far as Luke and his rugby-mad friend are concerned, they can't wait.
I hope that these other medications, they're not as addictive and they're not an amphetamine-based medication. I really don't want to become dependent on dexamphetamines. So if I'm not going anywhere, I won't take any, just to give my body a break, let my body sort of recover a little bit.
Yes! Yes!